Hotel World. It's your brother Matthew Daniels, and Pooh, the chosen few, aka the real bookworm. I'm not a bookworm, I'm the real bookworm. Make sure you get it right. And I'm gonna give y'all some game today in this video. Have y'all ever heard of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene? Now, individuals have different opinions about that book, but we're gonna look at one of those laws in that book, and I'm gonna tell you how I apply it in my life and how you can apply it in your life. One of the laws in the 48 Laws of Power state, do not go past the mark that you have planned for. Do not go past the mark that you have planned for. I'm going to say it one more time. Do not go past the mark that you have planned for. Now, one of the things I like about that book, 48 Laws of Power, they always give you a historical context when that law was applied, and it was applied to the benefit of the individual that was applying it, right? So if you have that book, you can read that law and you can check out the historical context that Robert Greene put it in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a more modern day context when I applied that law and how it worked out to my benefit. Back in 2010, right, my local police department, the Texas City PD, they enacted something that they called Operation Crackdown 2. Operation Crackdown 2. Now, part of Operation Crackdown 2 was something that they called Stop and Chat. It's very similar, and in fact, it's the exact same thing as the stop and frisk that was widely publicized that was going on in New York City.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Robert Berge of the Texas City Police Department. I come to you today to announce a new crime-fighting initiative undergoing by the Texas City Police Department. Operation Crackdown 2 is the title. Operation Crackdown 2 is designed to put more officers in areas such as neighborhoods, businesses, apartment complexes, and other areas around the city that have recently endured a rash of crime, including burglaries, thefts, and other code violations. You will see a large number of officers in certain areas at certain times, patrolling the streets and getting out and talking to residents and other people that is concerned about the well-being of Texas City and the recent crime trends that we've endured over the past 3 months. This is a 3-phase initiative that will have phase 1.
And I'm going to tell you something. I had no idea what Stop and Chat was when it first was released. I had no idea what Operation Crackdown 2 was when it was first released. All I know is that the police presence in certain neighborhoods in my hometown was increased, and individuals were being stopped and harassed for minor fractions. I'm talking about walking down the wrong side of the street, crossing the street and not crossing the street at a crosswalk. I'm talking about riding a bike with no bells on it, riding a bike with no lights on it. Now, these are ordinances and these are infractions that an individual can be engaged for, right? But what they did with the Stop and Chat, they were trying to enact it to where an individual did not have to even be in violation of an ordinance or in violation of a law for law enforcement, the police, to stop them, ask their name, ask them where they're coming from, where they're going, and give them the 3rd degree and run their names. And they tried to call it the Stop and Chat.
You will see a large number of officers in certain areas at certain times, patrolling the streets and getting out and talking to residents and other people, and getting out and talking to residents and other people, and getting out and talking to residents and other people, and getting out and talking to residents and other people,
saying that if an individual was found in a particular part of town that they called a high crime neighborhood, then they had the right to stop and chat with them. But the chat often led to individuals getting tickets and individuals going to jail. So what happened was me, my brother, and several individuals that I was involved with in civic activity, right, in community activity at the time, we started receiving a high number of calls, a lot of inboxes on Facebook, and individuals were telling us how they were being stopped and chatted with. And so, not knowing about Operation Crackdown 2 and not knowing about the stop and chat policy, all we knew was that the laws were harassing the community and making it hard for individuals to live their lives in peace. So we went on a full-fledged campaign against police harassment and police corruption in my neighborhood police department, okay? And the main goal was to bring an end to this practice that I later identified as stop and chat, and to bring an end to this operation that I later identified as Operation Crackdown 2. You see? And we battled with the laws for several years. I was riding around, I was taking videos of them when they were stopping people for these minor infractions. I was interviewing people that were harassed by certain cops, and I was getting their stories, and I was putting their story on social media. I was putting their story on YouTube. I was filing complaints. I filed several complaints on my own behalf with the Texas City Police Department when I had run-ins with them. I filed several complaints on my wife's behalf, and I filed several complaints on behalf of individuals in the community. And so I understood that we had to start putting that paperwork on them. And once we put that paperwork on them, we could possibly sue them if they continued with these illegal practices, right? And so what happened was we fought so hard that we brought an end to the Operation Crackdown 2, and we brought an end to the stop and frisk. And when we brought an end to the Operation Crackdown 2, and when we brought an end to the stop and chat, which is just like the stop and frisk, I eased up. You see? And a lot of people, man, over the years, since I've eased up on going head to head with the police department, they ask me why I don't still make videos about the police. Why I don't ride around and record the police. Why every other day I'm not at the police department filing complaints, and I'm not in their face, and I'm not as active with the police department. It's because of that rule, family. It's because of that rule. You never go past the mark that you plan for. Listen to me. Whenever you want to be successful in one of your endeavors, it doesn't have to be a political endeavor. It could be an achievement you want to make at your job. It could be a goal that you have. You could want to start a business. You could want to write a book, right? You could want to make a movie. You could want to make a rap album, okay? It could be anything. It could be anything, any goal, any ambition, anything that you have in your mind that you want to accomplish. What you have to do to accomplish that goal, to accomplish that dream, to accomplish that objective, you have to plan it out. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's real. And what you have to do is you have to plan it out to the minute detail you want to figure out, right? Goals have to be smart. They have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be attainable. They have to be relevant, and they have to be time bound. So what you tell yourself is, starting on this day and ending on this day, I am going to accomplish this. And this is how I am going to accomplish this. And this is how I'm going to measure whether I'm on track at accomplishing my goal. Now, what you have to factor in is when you achieve that goal, right? When you achieve that objective that you planned out, what you do if you want to go further past that mark, you stop and you reformulate another plan. You write down another goal. You get more objectives, because if you don't and you just continue on past the mark, you're going to get sloppy. You're going to get sloppy. And if you didn't meticulously plan out for that next endeavor, that next step, that going past the mark, chances are you're going to fail. And that's why a lot of people make the mistake at. They'll plan out what they are going to do for the next year of their life. And for that next year of their life, they execute, they knock it out the park, they achieve every single goal and objective that they want to achieve. And then after that year, they just start flying by the seat of their pants. And they wonder why they had so much success in the first year, but they start failing in the second year. It is because you did not plan it out in the second year. In the book, 48 Laws of Power, one of the historical references that he gives, he says if you're going to war, right, and you're going to war and you want to conquer a city, let's say I'm in Texas City and I want to conquer Lamar, right, and I get with my generals, I get with my advisors, I get with my army, I get with my allies, and I tell them, hey, I'm in Texas City, but I want to conquer Lamar, right? We're going to come up with a plan to assist us in accomplishing the goal of conquering Lamar. We figure out the territory of Lamar. We figure out their strengths. We figure out their weaknesses. We figure out our strengths. We figure out our weaknesses. We contemplate the best plan of attack. How can we attack Lamar, and how can we successfully conquer Lamar without being conquered ourselves? And once we have the plan laid out, thought out by a team of individuals who sat down and gave it adequate thought, right? We begin to achieve our objective. We hit certain locations that we plan to hit. Now, once we conquer Lamar, we can't be so happy and so elated that we were able to conquer Lamar that we're just like, hey, you know what? We're in Lamar, let's go on to Dickinson. And then we try to run into Dickinson without properly planning for it. And we erroneously think that the same tactics that we use to conquer Lamar will be successful in conquering Dickinson. Well, Lamar is strong, Dickinson may be weak. Well, Lamar is weak, Dickinson may be strong. And when we went into Lamar, we may have hit point A, B, and C, these specific government locations. But when we go to Dickinson, hitting those specific government locations will not be enough to conquer Dickinson. And then when we go past Lamar and we go into Dickinson, our troops may starve because we didn't plan to have enough provisions, food provisions, to go into Dickinson. We may go into Dickinson and hit the library because we hit the library in Lamar. Well, guess what? Hitting the library in Lamar may have been an intelligent decision, but hitting the library in Dickinson may have put you in a strategically bad situation. It may have put you in a situation to where your army can now be surrounded and decimated. And because your greedy behind went past the mark that you planned for, you're going to lose in Dickinson. What it'll be better to do is do not get caught up in your success and don't get caught up in your achievements and go past the mark that you planned for without planning to go past the mark that you planned for. Right now, I'm in a tooth and nail battle with the Galveston County Health Department, right, in coastal health and wellness. And I'm not going to go into all of the details of that. You can check the videos on my YouTube channel, The Chosen Few, Few spelled P-H-E-W, The Chosen Few spelled all out as one word. And you can see what this is all about. Or you can scroll my page and you can find out what this is all about. But I'm going to tell you something, and I hope they're listening. I hope, and matter of fact, I know they're listening. I never go past the mark that I have set forth in my mind. You cannot get me off of my path. Now, I made a major move, right? I made a major move. I filed that open records request. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I know you heard me saying that if I were you, I would try to make those open records requests so expensive, okay, so expensive that I can't afford the paperwork. But sometimes, family, when you're in a battle with a government entity, or when you're in a battle with an individual, right, sometimes when you appear to give information, the information is misdirection. And if you sometimes give valid information, and if you sometimes give misdirection information, the enemy that you are up against, your opponent, they cannot figure out what your real move is, right? I'm going to tell y'all a quote. And by telling y'all this quote, you are going to think that I'm messing up. But trust me, I kind of know what I'm doing, right? I kind of know what I'm doing. If you can control the intel, right, that your enemy has about the movements of your army, you can control the movements of your enemy's army. Because you know, if somebody wants to stop you from achieving your goal, and somebody wants to stop you from accomplishing your dream, and you know they want to stop you, right? What you may want to do is put out into the ethers, put out into the universe, put out on social media that I am about to go left. My army is about to go left. And when you say that my army is about to go left and they believe you, then they are going to prepare to stop you when you go left. But all in all, you never intend to go left. You just tell them that you're going to go left to make them go in that direction. While all along, you're actually going right, and you're going to come up behind them on the back end and surround them, and it's checkmate. It's game over, right? And I say that to tell y'all this. You never want someone to know everything that you are doing, and it's okay to give your opposition misinformation, right? It's okay to give your opposition misinformation. There's been a lot of people reaching out to me that's telling me that they support me, right? That's telling me that they support me in this endeavor against coastal health and wellness in the Galveston Health Department. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everybody that inboxed me and I inboxed them back, just stick to the code. Stick to the script, right? Because they are about to make a move. And I guarantee you, family, they're going to make the wrong move. You want to know why? Because there is no right move for them to make. There is no right move for them to make. There is no right move for them to make. You understand what I'm telling you? There is no right move for them to make. So what you have to do in your own life, for one, with your goals and ambitions and trying to achieve success, you never go past the mark that you planned for. And if you want to go past the mark that you planned for, you sit down and you plan to go past that mark, right? And you always want to try to control what your enemy knows about the movements of your army. You always want to control the narrative. That's why you have double agents. Like you have the CIA and they'll be double agents. It'll be an individual, they working for the American government, but they pretend to be working for the Russian government, and they feed the Russian government certain information to make the Russian government act a certain way, while all along, when you act a certain way that the double agent is telling you to act, you're setting yourself up to be checkmated. You setting yourself up to be checkmated. So 48 laws of power. You never go past the mark that you set for yourself, right? Individuals that want to know why I'm not going hard body against the cops no more, it's because the objective that I sought to achieve, I achieved it. And I moved on. I moved on to the next. Because had I not moved on to the next, I would end up dead or in jail. Because I didn't plan past that mark. You understand what I'm saying? You can't get so overzealous. You know, you have a victory, you have some success, you achieve a goal, and you get so overzealous, you begin to bite off more than you can chew. You never want to bite off more than you can chew. You understand what I'm telling you? You never want to bite off more than you can chew. You see, if you have a goal and you have an ambition and you have a dream, never bite off more than you can chew, and you never go past the mark that you plan for. You understand what I'm saying? If you wanna make it to the moon, right? And you calculate how to get to the moon on a certain day, and you calculate how to get back, right? And you plan for that, and then you go to the moon, and when you get to the moon, you so happy, you like, hey, let's go to Mars. And you use your fuel that you were going to use to get home from the moon, you use that to go to Mars. Guess what? You're behind gonna be stuck on Mars, and now you can't come back. What it'll be better to do is, okay, I made it to the moon, I achieved that goal. Now I'm finna go back to Earth, right? And now I'm finna plan on either how to go straight to Mars, or I'm gonna plan on how to go to the moon, stop, go to Mars, stop, and make it back home. That's what you have to do. A lot of times people fail because of lack of planning. Lack of planning. And not just lack of planning, it's they only plan to a certain degree, and when they reach that certain degree, they continue on because they are so happy that they achieved and tasted some success, and they don't go back to the drawing board. If you play chess, every time you move a piece, the board changes, right? Every time I move a pawn and my opponent moves a pawn, the board changes. I have to reassess the situation. I may have an idea in my head that's 5 moves down the road, right? But if everybody, me and my opponent, if we all don't move exactly how I saw it in my mind, When I get 5 moves down the board will not look how I saw it in my mind. So I need to reassess the situation. Never go past the mark that you plan for in whatever you want to achieve in your life. You always plan, right? You meticulously plan. And when you achieve a goal, you go back to the drawing board before you go any further, or you will lose. That's how I am successful in the things that I am successful in. I plan, I think, I do not stop thinking. In everything that I do, I've already thought about what the individuals I'm doing it to will do in response. And I've already calculated what I will do when they do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. All eventualities. That's just how you have to start seeing things. And if you don't see things like that, guess what? Teams win. You surround yourself with individuals who do. And together, y'all can not only conquer Lamarck, you can conquer Dickerson as well. And you can conquer Hitchcock. And you can conquer Galveston. Right? And you can conquer League City and Webster. But you have to plan for all of that. You can't plan to conquer Lamarck and think your plan to conquer Lamarck is going to conquer Dickerson, Hitchcock, League City, Galveston as well. It don't work like that, family. It don't work like that, family. It don't work like that, family. Just because you got a job don't mean you're going to get promoted at the job. And what you did to get promoted at the job don't mean it's going to take you to the next promotion at the job. And just because you got 2 promotions at the job don't mean that same energy is going to take you to the 3rd promotion at the job. Because different levels call for different things. Just because I wrote 1 book and it's successful does not mean that my 2nd book is going to be successful. I can't do the exact same thing I did with Suicide Note and do it with Thicker Than Water. I have to do something different. Right? So this video has already went on a little too long. So I hope everybody stuck with me and watched the whole video. If you haven't already, cop that book, Suicide Note. Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels. It's one of the hottest, rawest hood stories you ever want to read. And if you want to support me, that's a good way to support me. That's a good way to support all of my endeavors. Just go out and buy the book. You ain't got to worry about donating. You ain't got to give me nothing. Just go buy the book. It's a good read. Buy the book. You see what I'm saying? Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels. It's on Amazon.com, Walmart.com. The link is going to be in the descriptions. And if I post this on Facebook, the link is going to be in the comments. Cop that book, family. Share this video. Go to my YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all stay riding with me. It's going to be plenty more to come. I'm on the front line with Coastal Health and Wellness, Galveston County Health Department. It's finna get good. I'm telling you, it's finna get good. I've already thought five moves down the road. It's going to get good. Mark my words. Y'all know how I get down. Anybody from my hometown, y'all know how I get down. When I lock on the cars, I'm like a pit bull. I'm not letting go till I'm ready to let go. And you can't make me let go. You will fold before I fold. Matthew Daniels, Ampu, The Chosen Few, the real bookworm. I'm not a bookworm. I'm the real bookworm. Make sure you get it right, family. Hotel. May your name live on forever, and may your memory never die. That's real.